Meantime, Tesla among the first of the Mag 7 to report this week. The stock up nearly 60% since the November election. Joining us right now is Tim Higgins, the Wall Street Journal business columnist and a CNBC contributor. Good morning to you, Tim. I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to watch to understand what's going on, especially given that Elon Musk has decamped to basically run Tesla from the White House.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the top questions that investors have is just how much time is he going to be spending focused on Tesla in the months and years to come now that he's spending so much time in the swamp, if you will.
And what do you think the answer is, and how do you imagine it's going to impact the numbers one way or the other? I mean, clearly it's impacted the stock price in a very positive way.
Yeah, you know, I don't expect a lot of clarity. You know, people who are invested in Tesla know kind of at this point that they don't get Elon Musk exclusively on Valentine's Day. I know he's a guy with a lot of companies, and now this is an extra job. I think what they're probably looking for is what they're always looking for is kind of the tone of his excitement for the months ahead. Is he optimistic that Tesla can return to growth, that kind of growth that has fueled that stock price for so many years? Or is he cautious and worried about the months ahead, which would be very negative, likely on the stock? Remember, this is a growth story. This is a growth stock, and Tesla has not been growing. Last year, deliveries fell for the first time, and that is unnerving for a lot of folks. And likely, you know, a lot of attention will be on, you know, will Tesla grow 20, 30% this year, as Elon said last year?
In terms of full self-driving, how important is that piece of this versus, you know, there's been talk about, are they going to redesign the actual vehicles, which obviously have not been at least fundamentally redesigned in quite some time?
Yeah, self-driving is the kind of story of the stock. Part of the belief that why the stock has gone up so high since Trump won is this idea that Tesla will perhaps benefit, and the way it would benefit with Elon's close relationship with the White House is in the realm of self-driving, that technology that allows the car to drive itself. There are some regulatory questions. The states tend to kind of police this area. Elon has talked about the importance of perhaps having a federal solution to allowing this technology to roll out in an easier fashion. That's definitely one of the questions that I think is out there, and people will be looking for any kind of color in that area. But the other part of it is Tesla has to show that it can actually deploy this kind of technology.
So where are you on the Robotaxi front? I mean, clearly it's being deployed in a whole bunch of cities now. Some of it's pretty remarkable, I have to say. But there is this question mark of, you know, will you be able to buy a Tesla and effectively put it on an Uber network and turn it into a Robotaxi? It's even something we talked to Derek Khosrowshahi about in Davos. And he seemed, you know, for so long the timeline was always, you know, 2 or 3 years out. He even said he still thinks it's sort of the fundamental change may not come for another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, if you look in San Francisco, where I am, you see these self-driving cars, these Waymos, on a regular basis. So it is technology that is real now. You know, a few years ago when you and I were talking about this, it was still on the horizon. It is something that I could go out and do now. But we haven't seen Tesla kind of get into the same kind of operational aspect that we've seen Waymo do. And that's probably why some people think it's still going to be years away before this becomes technology that really throws the driver out universally across the country, because in the back end, there's still a lot of operational things. Waymo has people kind of monitoring these cars, stepping in when needed with various technologies. There's cleanings, there's charging these cars. So it's not as simple as just putting a robot on and just letting it go.
Straight up, since you've been in the Waymo cars, you spent a lot of time, I think, in and studying these Tesla vehicles. Tesla obviously still does it all with cameras, no LiDAR, which is sort of these lasers going around. Obviously, Waymo does. Who does it better, straight up?
Well, right now, the answer would be Waymo, because they're the only ones that are operating robot taxis for the public.
And therefore, you think that even the technology that Tesla has, it's not in the same league?
Well, that's
because I think there's some people who think that it is, and even better. I've heard other people say they think Tesla's even more advanced than Waymo. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true either. Time will tell, because we haven't yet seen them deploy that technology. So if we're asking who's best in the world right now, well, Waymo is demonstrating that they can operate these vehicles as a business on the roadways. Tesla has talked a lot about it. There's a lot of excitement about the technology and the way they are doing it. There's a lot of reasons why it could potentially leapfrog a Waymo, but it gets down to the proofs in the pudding, and Tesla doesn't have a robot taxi at this point.
One last question. Robots. They say that 2025 is supposed to be the year of robots. Between AI and finally getting robotics going, Elon was early on robots. We've seen a number of different demos with robots. How far out is that? And is that part of the bet?
Yeah, that's part of the gamble here on Tesla, that is going to be a huge opportunity for them, a huge market in the future. A lot of interest in these early ones that he said are going to go into production this year to see what they can do, what the cost of those is going to be. It's all going to be about the functionality, as it always is. And that is kind of one of the big questions that I think is hanging over this, is what can they actually do?